Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and we've got a new story today. David Schwartz is speaking and talking about Ripple's vision of XRP for the future and financial inclusion. And in my last video, I mentioned that it's been a whirlwind of news. I mean, I guess it seems like it is pretty much every day, but heading into the weekend, I felt like stories kept coming. There's even a lot to cover, stuff that was pushed out today. And after I put out all the content yesterday that I was going to, I was scrolling through my Twitter feed, and I came across this link, this tweet from Spring, which had a link to a YouTube video. It's about 8 minutes long with David Schwartz speaking. And I'd already finished recording what I was going to record today, but instantly I was like, oh my god, I would have loved if I just came across this, because this link came out at 10 a.m. yesterday, but there weren't any stories about it, and I just didn't happen to see it in my Twitter feed until last night. And so I was like, oh my god, this is something I would have loved to have spoken about. I was like, I'll do it tomorrow. And sure enough, now that one day has passed, there's a couple stories about it, so I'm going to be running through this. It's cool stuff here. And then I'll share with you a couple tweets from the XRP community, and I'll wrap up the video with this article from CoinDesk titled State Street. 38% of clients will put more money into digital assets in 2020. But before we go any further, if you would please ever so delicately tap that like button, but don't get all smashy with it, because if you break that thing by smashing it, you bite. That is the tough love policy on the Moon Lambo channel. And I do have a recommendation. I recommend that you subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel, because it's a well-known fact that, well, the cool kids are doing it. You don't want to be a not cool kid, do you? So let's go ahead and dive in now. So here's the tweet from Spring, the official Spring account, which is at SpringDev. We need a network that is open. We need something that is truly open source and is accessible like the internet is, says Ripple CTO David Schwartz, who is also co-creator of XRP itself. And the title of this article I'm going to run through from Daily Hodl, titled Ripple Executive Says XRP Poised to Boost Financial Inclusion in the United States and Abroad. Lots of actual quotes from David Schwartz here. You're going to like this. Now, Ripple Chief Technology Officer David Schwartz says the company is aiming to bring greater financial equality to people both in the United States and overseas. In his keynote address at Ripple's UBRI Connect 2019, Schwartz highlights the fact that despite misperceptions, millions of people in America lack sufficient access to mainstream financial services. And here's a quote from David Schwartz. We tend to think we're overbanked in the United States because you could just go anywhere and open a bank account. But a fairly shocking statistic, 24 million Americans are underbanked, alongside almost 2 billion people worldwide. And by the way, that's a much higher number than I was expecting. And in terms of percent, it's been a little while since I looked up what the population in the United States is, but it's definitely over 300 million. So that's something. So you might imagine it's maybe somewhere between 5 to 8%, depending on what the actual number of citizens is. And again, I didn't check it before recording this video, but I'd be willing to bet it's probably somewhere around there. And for a first world country, I wouldn't have thought that would be the case. But anyway, Schwartz says Ripple's broader mission is to help financial institutions and their clients move money as quickly and efficiently as email. Here's another quote from David Schwartz. Today, money is locked up in distinct systems, just like information used to be. If I want to pay you some money, I have to ask you what system you're on, and it's slow. Many payments networks shut down outside of business hours. Many payment networks only work in overlapping businesses, hours between the two time zones they make payments between. Payments take days. They are very uncertain. There are a lot of people who have to make a phone call to say, did my payment go through? And the payment company will say, we don't know. Call us back in a few days. Yeah, no kidding, right? Schwartz says XRP could potentially play a crucial role in improving the speed and efficiency of payments by giving financial institutions a way to send money overseas using the digital asset as a bridge currency. Yes, XRP indeed. So here's another quote from David Schwartz. On the enterprise side, we built this payment network called RippleNet using XRP to settle where that makes sense. The problem that solves is having to pre-position money where you need to make payments. So, for example, without some sort of cryptocurrency solution to make a payment to the Philippines, you'd have to have Philippine pesos sitting in the Philippines. Now, if you want to make payments on Monday, and maybe Friday is a holiday somewhere, you might have to move that money on Thursday or even earlier. And you have to figure out how much money you need, and you have to leave it sitting somewhere. What RippleNet does with XRP is the sender can exchange their sending currency, say US dollar for XRP, send the XRP on the XRP ledger, and buy Philippine pesos precisely when they need them, which of course is absolutely brilliant, and it solves a real problem here. And you know another fun comparison they didn't mention in the article here, but it's funny to me because I'm a 36-year-old man here, and so growing up, in the 80s too, but growing up in the 90s as well, because I was still pretty young for most of that, well, really all of it. Do you guys, how many out there, you remember AOL, America Online? How many of you got those little compact discs, the little circled discs that would inevitably become coasters for cups? They'd send out the software via mail, and David Schwartz was talking about how their whole pitch is about join America Online because it brings people together. You can connect with your friends and your family online, because this is like really pre-internet initially when it started. The World Wide Web wasn't so much being adopted, and so this is a walled garden. Now, of course, young Moon Lambo did not ever get to use AOL. No. My parents had Prodigy, and I'm sure even fewer of you know what that is. I was the only one out of all my friends that had Prodigy, and all of my friends had America Online, AOL, and they could all email each other and chat online. I could not. I'm not kidding you. It was technologically at the time impossible. The Prodigy, I don't know if AOL even had any sort of interoperability first before Prodigy, but Prodigy, you could not receive emails outside of Prodigy. It was just another walled garden situation. I couldn't send emails to my friends. And it's completely absurd looking back on it, but all the infrastructure had to be built out. Now you're a couple decades later, and it's fun to make fun of that. It kind of is. Thankfully, Prodigy, AOL, and there was also, he cited CompuServe in the video, which is, I think that CompuServe was even smaller than Prodigy, I think. I don't think I knew anybody that had CompuServe. I'm sure somebody out there listening that's my age or older probably had it, but not me. And so, glad that times have changed. But similarly, it's the same type of problem that we have today, where money it's just not interoperable. But Ripple is seeking to change this with what they call the Internet of Value, and indeed, it is a coming. Moving on here, here's a tweet from XRP Ville I came across in my Twitter feed before recording here. Tweeted this out, and you may know that Ripple. They got their escrow. 1 billion XRP comes out escrow each month, and then they can put back whatever they don't sell. And they put back 1 billion after unlocking 1 billion this month. Okay, so here's what XRP Villain wrote regarding the 1 billion XRP returned to escrow. Everyone seems bullish about it. Has anyone considered that there isn't any OTC buyers? Would Ripple turn down 100 million or more from a customer? I doubt that very much. This is bearish news. Don't try and sugarcoat it. Well, actually, they are turning away customers, and we flatly know that because in the second quarter, as they were selling their XRP, they noted that they were going to be tracking different metrics and that sales would be down in the third quarter, and that is exactly what happened. And if you look, tracking the new metrics, you can see exactly that they continue to only let out a certain percentage of what the actual volume is in terms of XRP transactions on the ledger. Now, as far as the 1 billion going back, just wait until the fourth quarter the XRP markets report is out from Ripple. It'll be a few weeks into January. We'll have it. I think you're going to find that despite the 1 billion going back, they still sold XRP. I believe you're going to see that because they said that the fourth quarter should look a lot like the third quarter in terms of the quantity that's sold. And so if they're putting that much XRP back, which they also did in October, they got it out and then they put 1 billion back in to at least 2 of the 3 months. If those numbers are going to be anywhere near what they were in the third quarter, then all that means is that they sold from their XRP stash that was not in escrow, which is perfectly fine. So that may be all this is, and I think if we wait, that's probably what we're going to come to find. But no, this is not any sort of bearish news. It's that they don't want to flood the market. They only want to sell based on the volume metrics that they're tracking. No, I'd say don't worry about that. So I just wanted to share my personal opinion on that. But if anyone disagrees, think I'm wrong, feel free to drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you on that. This next piece I got from Stonehodl XRP, but before jumping on it, jumping into it. I saw this before recording the video, and it made me laugh, so I wanted to share it with you. And mind you, I have a dog, and she's sleeping right now, and she's having a doggy dream. I can hear her make the little sounds, and she's definitely dreaming away here. I'm a dog person, what can I say? But I saw this tweet pinned on Stone Hodl's page, and so it was a screenshot from somebody named Josh. It doesn't matter who the individual is, but so Stone Hodl tweeted this image here of somebody else's tweet and pinned it at the top here, so I saw it and I read it. And this tweet from Josh states, "We'd be rich if you just say one effing word." And then it says, there's a little dash indicating who said it, and it says, "Me, drunk, talking to my dog." We'd be rich if you just say one effing word. And that's what I'm saying to my pet peeve, because she's just sitting there sleeping instead of using her mouth words, and that's too bad. My dog's name is Peeve, if you're wondering why I just said that. Get it? My pet peeve? Da, da, da. Yeah, Moonland was funny. All right, so last piece for this video from CoinDesk. State Street, 38% of clients will put more money into digital assets in 2020. The majority of asset managers that bank with State Street are interested in digital assets such as Bitcoin, but none have asked the global custodian to store them yet. We're talking to them less about can you custody this, and more about how we can work together to make sure these changes aren't disruptive to our business model, says Jay Biancamano. I think it's Biancamano, that's probably right. State Street's Managing Director of Digital Product Development and Innovation. The firm will have a better idea of what it will do with digital asset custody in 2020, he said at an event sponsored by the bank Thursday in New York. After custody, State Street is interested in looking at fund administration, private placements, issuance, and trading of digital assets, he said. But I thought that cryptocurrencies, after what happened in 2018, were going extinct. I thought that the bubble had popped. That was it. It's all she wrote. You can pack up your bags. You can go home. But here, major corporations building out infrastructure in 2019. Do they know what happened to the price of Bitcoin? Some people, I'm telling you. Yeah, crypto's here to stay. Despite their lack of interest in a custody solution, the Boston-based bank's clients are continuing to invest more in the new asset class. According to a survey to be released next week, 94% of State Street clients hold digital assets or related products like Bitcoin futures, for example, and 38% of them said they will increase their allocation of digital assets in 2020. 45% said their allocation would stay the same, according to the survey conducted for the bank this year by quantitative analysis firm Oxford Economics. What about you? Are you going to be adding to your crypto bags in 2020? I tell you what, I will be. The only thing that would prevent that is if XRP has a parabolic run-up that just doesn't stop through all of next year. And I don't know that that's going to. I'm Mr. XRP Bull, but I don't think it's going to go parabolic for more than a calendar year. So we shall see. But even if it ran up now, once it cratered again, I'd probably just start buying again, I'm guessing. We just have to see where it falls. But until I see some tremendous price action upward, I'm going to keep buying. And if price action continues to the downward, and this is not financial advice, I'm just sharing with you what I'm doing because I don't have a financial background. But yeah, even if it keeps going down to whatever degree, I'll just keep buying because I don't care. Because to me, the investment thesis that I live by is that utility matters and will win the day. Ultimately, people are going to figure this stuff out. So as long as there's real world adoption, hey, Moon Lambo's on board. But that's it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Lambo!